Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Frivolous Writer, where you can join me on this journey of me writing my very first novel. Really exciting. I'm very excited to share how far I've come. Um, but just before we get there, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for joining me, coming back, watching these videos. It's been awesome to see some of your comments and to learn from all of you. I've been able to see some of your channels and kind of what you're working on and how you're approaching writing your novels. It's been awesome to be a part of this community. I've also started on Reddit as well, so I'm joining some of the other writing communities on other platforms, and it's just been amazing. So today is Tuesday, which means I'm going to be actually reading more of my novel. And I just want to remind everybody, and I know I say this every time, but it is very raw. It is first draft, chapter 3, and I've already written a few more chapters from here, and so it's been getting better and better as I go. I know that last Friday I shared a little bit of my process and what I've learned so far about my process and what I'm doing. But I can recap that real quick. So just making sure that I plot what I want to have happen in the chapter, the who, what, where, when, why, and then from there I just make sure that it kind of aligns to the bigger story. And the bigger plot that way I'm not going to be going off too far, because sometimes when you're in the zone and you're just flowing and you're just getting somewhere, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh shoot, this doesn't actually match where I need it to go. And sometimes that's okay, and that's kind of what I've been finding, is that maybe my plot is a little different than I had originally imagined. And so the other thing is, I shared last Friday just how kind of my mind works, and I usually start with dialogue, and then from the dialogue, I'm able to kind of build around that, and that's just how my mind works, because I kind of see this as a movie. I can see people interacting with each other, but I've been trying to branch out from that and change just a little bit more, because I'm noticing that my chapters are actually mostly dialogue, and no one wants to just, like, this isn't a movie. No one wants to just see the dialogue. We also want to kind of understand the world around us, and especially in this genre. So the genre of young adult kind of sci-fi superhero kind of thing. I just want to make sure that part isn't left, and so I've been going back and kind of resolving some of that in my storytelling. So that's been great, great learning. So what I'm hoping from these Tuesday readings, when I'm actually reading from my first draft, is to hear a little bit from you. So if you are watching this and you see this, make a comment below. What are you noticing about my writing style? What are you noticing about what I'm doing? How could I improve? I'm open to all sorts of feedback, so don't be shy. But also, if you want to engage in different ways, just let me know. It, like I said, I'm just happy to be on this journey, and I really want to create a community from this, where we're able to kind of help each other. And this is an awesome opportunity for us to fulfill that purpose. So I know for me, it really is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, since I was a kid. It's just write something. And but I didn't really know how. I didn't know how to get started or how to get involved. And so that's the purpose of this channel. So if you find yourself here, try and engage. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what's happening. And so I know last time also I tried to share my screen. It didn't really go well. It looked real strange. And so I think now what I'm going to do is I'll try and find another way to do that. But I'm just, because I don't want you to have to just sit here and listen to me and watch me read, which is kind of weird. It's weird for me anyway. So I'll find another way to maybe edit this in. But if you know of any way for yourself how you do it, let me know. I am always looking to try and improve the channel and improve engagement with everybody. So maybe make a comment below. if you know a way for me to do this. I'm using OBS Studio to record this, but when I tried to share my screen on that, it was giving me an error, and then it recorded just me reading anyway. So, but if you know of any other way, I've been Googling it. I've been trying to find YouTube tutorials on it, but we'll go from there. So without further ado, let's get started. So if you recall, chapters 1 and 2, Maya and Conrad, their best friend, Eli, has been killed himself. And so now we are on the journey to understand why. So that's where we're at now. So chapter 3. As Conrad and Maya walked up to Eli's house, they gave each other a sideways look, acknowledging the feeling of discontent that swept over them both. It was hot, but not cold. Or it wasn't hot, but not cold. Muggy. Conrad felt the sweat start to build around his lower back. Maya looked at the house and then back to Conrad. You sure you're up for this? Yes, we have to. We need to know what happened to Eli. The resolve in his voice was absolute. Not something that he was familiar with in himself. Okay, let's go, Maya said, and gave a motion with her hand as if to say, lead the way, which Conrad did. They got to the front door and took a breath in unison. Conrad lifted his hand and rang the doorbell. He let the breath he was holding out in a long exhale. Hands trembling, he put one behind his back and held the other arm. The sound of someone approaching on the other side of the door got louder as they got closer. For some reason, his heart was racing, even though he'd been here hundreds of times before. He knew Eli's parents. He'd stayed the night over countless times. This time was different. What was he going to say? How was he going to tell Eli's mom how sorry he was for her loss? How was he going to tell her to allow them to his bedroom? The door clicked as the latch released and opened slowly. On the other side of the door was a warm woman that Conrad and Maya knew well. Only this time her hair wasn't done. She was still in her pajamas, plaid flannel, and a robe over the top. She looked like she hadn't slept at all. Her eyes were small and puffy, and there was no color in her face. Conrad didn't know what to say and elected to say nothing at all. Maya jumped in. Hi, Mrs. Myers. Conrad and we just wanted to tell you, we don't know what to say. She fumbled with her words, but they were very sincere. Eli's mom started to have tears well up in her eyes. She paused for a moment before speaking. Her voice cracked as she spoke. I know, me either. Did you kids want to come in? I made some breakfast, but I can't eat. Maya and Conrad looked at each other and then back to Mrs. Myers. Sure. Walking in, they both knew they weren't going to eat, but the hard part was done. They were in the house. Now they just needed to figure out a way to get into Eli's room without being too obvious. That they were looking for something. Anything. Anything that would lead them to knowing why this happened, or what the shadow was that Eli was talking to in Conrad's vision. Mrs. Myers led them to the kitchen. She had cooked, but hadn't cleaned. It was clear that she was sitting in the kitchen alone. The food was served, but sat untouched on the plate. I'm sorry for the state of things. I thought cooking would help me today. It didn't, really. And I honestly can't think of eating right now. I wasn't expecting anyone today, so I haven't gotten dressed. Mrs. Myers was talking to them, but not looking at them. I should have cleaned. But I really can't think of anything. I really can't think of that now either, she continued, unconcerned with whether or not they were listening. What can I get for you guys? Finally looking at them. Maybe just some water? Maya said as Conrad continued, not knowing what to say. Did you want to eat any of this? She said, pointing at the eggs on the table. I'm not hungry either, Maya said. We mostly wanted to check on you, Mrs. Myers. She couldn't hold back the tears anymore. They started rolling down her face uncontrollably. She would wipe them as soon as they started to hit her cheeks. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be crying in front of you guys. You guys lost your friend too, she sniffled and continued to wipe her tears. I'm sorry, she said again. Maya reached out her hand, tears in her eyes too. Can I see his room? Conrad blurted awkwardly. I'm sorry, I wanted to sit in the room again if that's okay. It all came out at once. "Oh, sure, I'll take you up there," Mrs. Myers said, smiling through her tears, showing that familiar motherly side that Conrad and Maya knew. "No, no, I know where it's at. You stay here," he bowed awkwardly as he backed out of the room. Once he was completely out of the kitchen, he turned to the stairs leading to the second floor to Eli's room. The door to his room was closed. He turned the knob slowly, not knowing what to expect. Pushing the door open, he saw everything. It looked so normal. It was undisturbed. Everything looked as though Eli was still there. Except he wasn't. Conrad was trembling. He didn't want to be there. His emotions were running high. His best friend wasn't there to greet him like he had been so many times before. He was moving slowly through the room as if trying to sneak up on Eli, who might be hiding in there somewhere. He half hoped that he was. Or he half hoped that he might jump out and scare him, like it all was just a joke, even though he knew that it wasn't. He reached the center of the room, the exact place where he was standing in the vision, his heart racing. He tried to remember exactly what he saw. He looked at Eli's desk in front of him. It looked the same as in his vision, except the phone was missing. There were papers on the desk neatly organized. He picked them up. Drawings. First a car, then a plane. He was going over them in his hands, flipping from one, putting it behind, wanting to keep them in the order that he found them. The next was what looked like a self-portrait. It was pretty good, done in pencil. The next was of the room. The detail was fantastic. Conrad was analyzing the drawing. In the closet, Conrad's eyes stopped at the closet. That doesn't make sense, but I'll fix that and rewrite. He froze. It looked like there was an outline of a man. It had been erased, but the indentation from the pencil was still there. Conrad looked up at the closet. He felt compelled to walk toward it, moving slowly. Still, he made his way towards it. It was already open, nothing mysterious there. He fingered through the shirts and pants of his friend. He could still smell Eli. He missed his friend. Then, just as he was going to turn to leave, he saw something on the floor of the closet. It was white, setting it apart from the shadows on the floor. A notebook. He leaned down and picked it up, thumbing through the pages quickly. More drawings, some writing. Then again, he saw a drawing of the Shadow Man, and next to it said in all caps, "Be careful." Conrad closed the journal, tucked it under his arm. He went back to the desk and picked up some of Eli's other drawings, put them with the journal and went back down to the kitchen, trying not to walk too quickly. He was sure he found what he was looking for. He wanted to show Maya. When he got to the kitchen, Maya and Mrs. Myers were still sitting at the table holding hands, both crying. Conrad walked in slowly and put his hand on Maya's shoulder. "Maya, we have to get back to school before they know we're missing." Maya looked over her shoulder at Conrad. She looked at the papers under his arms and then back up at him. "I found some of Eli's drawings. Can I have these?" Conrad said shamelessly. He showed them to Mrs. Myers quickly, making them seem unimportant. "Sure, honey. I'm sure he would love for you to have them." "Thank you. I really appreciate that. They remind me of him," Conrad said, and he meant it sincerely. Maya stood up. "We'll come by again soon if that's okay. I would love that." Mrs. Myers was smiling again. They all walked to the door together. Mrs. Myers opened the door for them and then made their way out. At the end of the yard, they turned and waved goodbye. She waved back. They turned and started moving quickly back to school. So again, rough draft. That's the end of the chapter. Kind of had the vision of what I wanted. It hit all of the marks, but still unfinished, still very raw. But I'm open to hearing what you guys have to say. So if you have any comments or any recommendations, what I'm kind of finding difficult in the writing process right now is making it seem more robust. So rather than just dialogue going back and forth, what I notice in books that I'm reading, I mean, obviously you're telling the story. So making it feel more real, rather than just going back and forth, back and forth. It just reminds me of that episode of Family Guy, when Peter Griffin is talking about how easy it would be to write, and then it just seems so colloquial, like using jargon that he uses and talking about people, but you don't have any context to those people. Like, that's kind of how it feels to me right now. I do feel progress from chapter to chapter, and the more that I'm writing, and I'm also finding that before I would journal mostly, just to try and get in the habit of writing. But actually now I'm focusing more, and I'm able to get to more of the story. So I'm liking that. I'm finding the process still very exciting. I've written probably 6 or 7 chapters now. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're all in my notebook. I'm also going from the notebook and then dictating it. I hate the dictation for Microsoft Word, so I'm actually now just typing it out. So I feel like there might be a faster way to do this, but I really do like the process of physically writing. I find that to be better when I sit at my computer and just try and type this out. Doesn't have the same kind of pull than if I were, or when I rather sit and write. So maybe that's just part of the process, but I'm open to hearing what you guys think. Tell me about the story so far. What you're finding in the story, or the way that I'm telling the story, any ways that I can improve, any tools that you use, maybe your own process. I'm happy to hear that. And if you have your own channel, make sure you comment below so that whoever's watching this can see your channel too, and I can go and watch your channel. Shout out to I think it's called Jesse Writes, because I saw your channel and it was awesome. Your video qualities are superb. So hopefully you're still watching these, and really looking forward to see you create your story and tell your story, and write I think you're on your second novel, which is amazing. And I'll link your channel here too. But yeah, I'll see you all on Friday. Can't wait to hear from anybody who might be watching this. So with that, have a good rest of your day, everybody.